The swarm. The Appalachian Trail was an enigma. Over 2,000 miles of rugged terrain stretching from Georgia to Maine. A labyrinth of nature's beauty hiding its darker secrets. In recent months, the stretch near Thornraven, a small, forgotten town nestled in the Appalachian Mountains, had gained an unsettling reputation. Hikers, experienced and novice alike, had vanished without a trace. No bodies, no signs of struggle. Just empty tents, abandoned gear, and uneasy whispers of something sinister lurking in the woods. Theories ran rampant. Park rangers blamed bears or mountain lions. Others suspected a deranged hermit or serial killer. But some outliers swore it was Bigfoot or even aliens. Online forums buzzed with speculation, each theory more absurd than the last. Among the skeptics and thrill seekers were 5 friends: Nate, Emily, Jake, Brooke, and Travis. They weren't just a group of college buddies. They were seasoned hikers, self-proclaimed mythbusters. When the latest disappearance, a father and his teenage son, hit the news, they couldn't resist the lure of Thornraven. Armed with camping gear, GoPros, and an array of weapons, they set out to uncover the truth. The first day was uneventful. The air was crisp, the trail challenging but manageable. Nate, the de facto leader, kept spirits high with his jokes, while Emily, a budding photographer, documented every moment. Jake and Brooke, inseparable and always bickering, trailed behind, leaving Travis, the quiet but resourceful one, to bring up the rear. As dusk approached, they set up camp near a clearing, the dense forest around them humming with the sounds of nocturnal life. Over a crackling fire, they debated theories. "It's gotta be a serial killer," Jake declared, skewering a marshmallow. "No way animals are this precise." "Bigfoot," Brooke countered. "The disappearances started after that weird sighting last year." "Don't be ridiculous," Nate scoffed. "There's no such thing as Bigfoot. It's probably just people getting lost or falling into ravines." Emily leaned forward. "What about the bugs?" Everyone turned to her. "I read this article," she continued, "about swarms of flesh-eating insects in South America. What if something like that made its way up here?" "Come on, Em," Travis said, his voice steady. "That's not even remotely plausible." But as the fire burned low and shadows crept closer, the idea lingered. Emily was the first to notice something strange. She woke in the dead of night to an unnatural stillness. The forest, usually alive with chirps and rustles, was silent. A thick, metallic scent hung in the air, making her stomach churn. She stepped out of her tent, flashlight in hand, scanning the perimeter. The beam caught a ripple in the grass, a subtle, almost imperceptible movement. She leaned closer, heart pounding. "What are you doing?" Nate's voice startled her, and she jumped, nearly dropping the flashlight. "Something's off," she whispered. "The woods feel wrong." Nate rolled his eyes, but joined her in scanning the area. The ripple was gone, leaving only undisturbed grass swaying in the breeze. "Probably just the wind," he said, but his tone betrayed his unease. The next morning, they discovered Brooke's hiking boots outside her tent, neatly placed as if she'd removed them intentionally. But Brooke was gone. "Brooke!" Nate shouted, his voice echoing through the trees. Jake was frantic, tearing through the camp for any sign of her. "She wouldn't just leave. This isn't like her." Emily found Brooke's GoPro nearby, its strap chewed as if by tiny teeth. She played back the last recording, her breath catching as the screen filled with static, then a strange, high-pitched whine. Brooke's face appeared, pale and terrified. She screamed, but the sound was cut off abruptly, replaced by the whine. "What the hell is that?" Travis muttered. "We need to get out of here," Emily urged, but Nate shook his head. "We're not leaving without Brooke. We split up, search the area, and meet back here in an hour." The group fanned out, each taking a different direction. Emily ventured down a narrow, overgrown path, the trees pressing close on either side. The metallic scent from the night before returned, stronger now, making her eyes water. Her flashlight flickered, then died. As she fumbled for her spare batteries, she felt it, a tingling on her skin like static electricity. Then came the sound, a faint buzzing hum that grew louder by the second. She turned, and her scream was swallowed by the swarm. Millions of tiny, translucent insects surged toward her, moving as one. They covered her in seconds, biting, burrowing, consuming. Her cries echoed briefly before falling silent. Jake found Brooke, or what was left of her. A single hand lay in the underbrush, stripped clean of flesh. Before he could react, the swarm descended, devouring him where he stood. Travis and Nate heard his screams and ran to find him, but it was too late. The ground where Jake had been was spotless, not even a drop of blood remaining. "What the hell is happening?" Nate asked, panic creeping into his voice. "They're bugs," Travis said, his voice shaking. "It's the bugs." "We need to get out of here!" But the swarm was already upon them. Nate shoved Travis toward the trailhead. "Go! I'll hold them off!" "No!" Travis protested, but Nate didn't wait. He grabbed a canister of bear spray and unleashed it on the advancing swarm. The bugs hesitated, their collective movement faltering just long enough for Travis to run. As he sprinted through the woods, the hum of the swarm followed, relentless. He tripped, falling hard onto the rocky path. The swarm was on him in an instant, biting, tearing. He screamed, thrashing wildly, but the insects were too many. In a final desperate act, he rolled down a steep embankment, landing in a shallow creek. The icy water stunned him, but the swarm stopped at the edge, unwilling to cross. Gasping for breath, Travis crawled along the creek, following its path until he stumbled onto a dirt road. A passing truck skidded to a stop, the driver jumping out to help. "They're dead," Travis whispered, his voice raw. "They're all dead." Travis became a local legend, the lone survivor of the Thornraven massacre. But his story was met with skepticism. Authorities dismissed his claims, citing dehydration and trauma. Months later, he sat alone in his apartment, still haunted by the hum of the swarm. His body bore strange scars, tiny circular marks that no doctor could explain. One night, as he lay in bed, he felt it again, the tingling on his skin. He looked down to see the marks glowing faintly, pulsing in rhythm with a faint, familiar hum. The bugs weren't gone, they were inside him.